I got to just get you first on this ISM number, this 63.7. I know you've been talking about your latest acronym, MAMU, Mother of All Melt-Ups, largely driven through M2. This seems to fit right into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fundamentals are very good, but the amazing thing is that even though bond yields have been rising since August of last year, the forward PE, the valuation multiple for the S&P 500, remains around 22, which is very, very impressive. In the past, one would have thought that with rising bond yields, the valuation multiple would go down, but it's hung in there remarkably well. And I think it's because with the amount of liquidity provided by the Fed and the Treasury, this is the third round of checks that have just gone out starting around mid-March for $1,400, bigger than the first two rounds. And some of it just can't be spent overnight. Some of it just piles up in the money supply. And M2 through February was up $4.2 trillion. I got to believe it's going to be up even more when we get March and April data.
Lee, I wonder what you make of that that dynamic. You know, the argument when yields started to creep higher was that, well, companies are going to be able to earn their way out of this hole, this new competition where there finally is an alternative to stocks. Do you think that's what Ed is referring to, and do you think that's what we're looking at? Lee, are you there? I guess we lost him, Ed. We'll try to get him back while you and I continue to talk. Sure. I want you to follow through on that thought. I also want you to respond to something that the Journal wrote over the weekend, and that is that the pandemic in general shocked corporate America into adopting technology in ways they hadn't expected. And because of that, we're going to be looking at that long-awaited return to productivity. You think that makes sense?
Absolutely. I've been making that very same argument, that the pandemic really was a shock to all of us. And I think those of us who could respond to it in a creative, positive way by using technology to do our work, to go about our business, to try to have some normality in our home lives, we all had to use technology. I think that every business now really is a tech company. If you're not using technology to improve the quality of the goods and services you provide to the consumer, if you're not using technology to bring the goods and services faster to the consumer, you're going to be left behind and you're going to go out of business. So I think everybody recognizes that there's a tremendous menu of technological innovations out there that can be used to increase productivity. I think that's part of my thesis for the roaring 2020s. I'm not the only one who's been making that analogy, but I do think it's going to be based on productivity.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.